Hi, this is Scott Jordan, and you are watching live here at Cellars of Sonoma in beautiful Railroad Square, Santa Rosa, California. And welcome everybody to TV Tuesday Live. This is the show where we taste wine, we talk about wine, and tonight we are going to be treated with some wines from afar, from way out in this other state called Arkansas. And we have Mary Lynn Clore. She's here from Arkansas. She came all the way to bring this wine to us tonight. Mary Lynn, welcome.
Thank you.
And good to see you. As I put in those of you that saw my email blast, I had on there that we'll tell you the rest of the story, because a little more of the story about her being here and her relationship with us and how we know each other. You guys, your family, came out to go see your daughter,
Yes.
who is Janelle, and she's courting our son,
Yes,
Kevin. And so they're courting, and but she just got her master's in fine art, and give me the whole list.
Right.
Give me I mean, it's big. That's big time.
Fine arts, but it is more in sculpture.
Sculpture. Okay.
And she won her award.
I know she did.
Yes,
That's
as
great.
Best in Show.
That's awesome.
So we're very excited.
That's
So
awesome.
proud of her.
So we knew you were coming, and so
Yes.
we asked you to bring some wines from your area and you did. You brought some cool wines, and this is what we're going to taste tonight. We're going to taste a Grand Reserve Chardonnay. Now, what's interesting is the Arkansas wines, very much like 2 weeks ago we did Tennessee wines. They don't have vintages on them. So they're really treated like you would do it in Champagne, where you have a non-vintage, which is multiple vintages. So this is a Grand Reserve Chardonnay. I have no idea how long, if anything. I don't know how it's produced. I mean, they don't give you a lot of info. A Blush Chablis, which is what this is here. A Shiraz, which is nothing more than a Syrah, but they call it Shiraz. And a Red Muscadine.
Right.
And
Red
you said you want to
Muscadine.
save that one
For
last, because that one's interesting. And then we put we wanted to bring it back to California, and I put a Deering 2009 Cabernet Sauvignon, so we, if we freak out too much, we'll have something we're familiar with. So we'll taste through all of these wines, and I'm going to ask you a little bit about your experience when you went to the winery. Now tell us the name of the winery, and I'll pour the first wine, and then we'll pour it around for the group here.
The name of this winery is called Wiederkehr Wine Cellars, and it was founded by a gentleman called Johann Wiederkehr, who came to the United States in 1880, and he and his wife loved the area. They loved the sandy soil because it's around the Arkansas River, and he felt like it was the same kind of soil where he grew his vines when he was in Switzerland, and then close to Germany. So the vines have been there since 1880, and then they were replanted in 1967. They have about 40 varieties of grapes.
I mean, I saw a lot. When I
Yes.
looked online, I couldn't believe it.
They have a
The
lot of
interesting
wine.
part was, when I looked online, I also couldn't find price point. I thought that was quite interesting. I could not get one price online at all. Shipping is a real issue for some of the southern states. I
Yes.
know that that's a real big issue. We talked 2 weeks ago, Brian brought some wines from Tennessee, and they literally really can't ship out of their state. It's just,
Right.
and if they do, it's awful darn expensive.
It's very hard.
And so it's quite difficult to do distribution. We're fortunate here; we can kind of ship in pretty easy, but getting out of there is pretty tough.
And I'm the lucky one because I get to have the wine from here that you ship.
That's
and
right.
It is
so you guys know, she's also one of our wine club members. She came and visited
in October.
October, yeah, right in October, and fell in love with the wines, and is a wine club member, getting shipments and loving life and telling everybody about it. And we love that, and you're telling your friends, and they join the club, and that's what you guys do that are watching here. That's how you get these experiences. And we have guests in the audience here that are tasting along with us, which is really fun. And you can do that anytime on Tuesday nights. We have the live broadcast, and we taste all kinds of wines. So if you're
How much fun!
Yeah, so if you're new to the broadcast, the very first time you live locally, come down and you can actually taste along with us. It's really fun, and we always get treats. And this is really special. So Chardonnay. Looking at it, it gives me the impression that it may have barrel aged. They give me no info anywhere. I couldn't find any information.
60 barrels. I mean, 60-year-old, 60-gallon barrels.
So they
white
barrel,
oak and American.
Okay, all right.
Al Wiederkehr is the third generation to, to be the wine owner of Wiederkehr's.
Almost in the Chablis style. There is a hint of oak here.
A little bit of oak.
But it's not over oaky buttery at all. It's more of that crisp style. Now this is their super high-end, high-test stuff. $20.95 on that wine. Gotta love that.
It's perfect.
Right?
You can't beat it.
you know, $20.95. There'll be no discounting on that wine. Yeah, no kidding. But very, very clean. I wish I knew more. Those of you that are watching and have tuned in and maybe have more information, or if you find information while we're on the show, this is the Grand Reserve Chardonnay. I'd love to know if there's. I couldn't find anything else, but if somebody does, just let us know, and then Karina will ask the question and we'll answer that. Very, very clean. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's much better than the Tennessee wine. I gotta say, you know.
All right,
it really
Yay.
does. I
we're
mean,
getting them Tennesseans. So what do they call them? Arkansas? What do you guys call it? Arkansasans? Oh,
The Razorbacks?
No. Like Californian. Arkansans. So you say it the way it's spelled, but
Right, Arkansans, not Arkansans.
I was thinking about that today. I'm going, that'd be kind of weird. Could you do that? Arkansasians. I couldn't figure it out.
don't they also call them ex-presidents?
Oh,
yeah.
yes, we love our ex-president.
Now this particular, you were saying earlier that the Chardonnay and the Chablis are actually sourced. Do you know from what state they source the grapes from?
I wish I knew that.
So then
I
it's
know
not
that they
Arkansas
import
wine.
their grapes because there's such a demand for their wines. They import from New York, Virginia, Town, which is up north of where this winery is in Altus, Virginia. So they bring in wines. They bring the other grapes.
And when Karina, when you get a chance, if you can zoom in on this, it's interesting on these, and it's real similar to what we saw in the Tennessee wines. This says American grown, and because it's a non-vintage, just so you guys know, when you go in a grocery store or buy in your wine shops, for the most part, wines are going to be. You're going to know what the vintage year was of the wine. Non-vintage, why? The thing that I point at is right there. Oh, sorry. Non-vintage usually is just for sparkling wine. You see that very often in sparkling wine. You very rarely see it in distilled wines. Maybe a port, possibly. But it's interesting that in the Tennessee wines they did the same thing, and they used the word American, and then, gosh, who knows where it came from? They really it's quite interesting. So, Karina, you got a question? Why don't you fire off it?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Does Arkansas have a vineyard, or are they on a wine trail?
Well,
I don't know if he's speaking
Well, they're definitely on a wine trail, kind of like what you have here, right?
Yes,
It seemed
yes.
that to me that's where where they are.
What do you mean by
They-
trail? See, I don't know what that means.
Well, like here, you go down Dry Creek Road and you go to
Right.
different wineries, and that's
Oh.
what they have there. So it's really similar from that.
Right.
Or are they like out in the middle of nowhere? Just
Oh no,
No,
they're
right. They're
they have
right
about
off of
3
Interstate 40.
Yeah,
they're right.
and they have
at-
about 300 acres,
They
right? You
have
said
200.
200 acres?
250 to 200 acres.
Yeah.
And not only Wiederkehr, but there are a couple of other wineries there
Yeah.
that are right there on that
But they're
road.
by far the biggest.
Yes,
I
yes,
mean,
they
they-
would say
they-
definitely the biggest
Yeah.
and probably the oldest.
Yeah. So they grow several varietals right there in that
Right,
location.
right.
You guys you're restricted on really what you can grow because your weather patterns are so different that number one, you get too much water during the year, during the growing season. Humidity is a real issue because
Very big.
as you get toward the end, you're creating humidity, which is now looking at mold and issues on your vines, and then you have the possibility of an early frost or an early winter,
Definitely.
and then you're racing time.
Mm-hmm.
Comparing that to say California, we won't have rain now until the end of October, not a drop. So bone dry, ideal for grapes. If you want to make ultra premium grapes, you've got to grow with minimal water. Let that plant dig hard for the water source, and really starve that plant. Is what you're trying to do. Other parts of the country can't do that. We talked about Oregon a couple weeks ago. Oregon plants on hillsides because they get lots of rain, but they need drainage. So you'll see a lot of hillside planting. Same with the Finger Lakes in New York. You'll see more on the hillside than you would in the flats, and that's because of the water table is a little bit lower, and therefore they're going to be fighting for the water a little bit better. But you guys have challenges that we don't
We
have.
definitely,
We
definitely have
we
challenges
kind of
there.
grow in the. Now tell us about you have an artifact here,
Yeah.
and this is pretty cool. See if you can get. Oh God, hold on. I was just thinking.
Careful, don't let the cork come out.
Oh yeah. No, I was thinking if I dropped it, it would be just the worst thing in the world.
It's only 12,000 years old.
Yeah, this was. I'm assuming the date 1900 means when it was made or when it was given to somebody, or do you know?
Probably, Grandpa was born in the late 1800s, huh, Barbara? So then he made that as a young man in Palermo, Sicily.
Yeah, so this is a
And brought it
wine
over
jug
here
that
to
you would have
America.
if you're just working on the railroad doing your thing, and you go, oh wow, I really would like to have something to drink. You just pop that baby, and here you go, we're ready to go. I
Right.
like that.
And his own wine. He made all his own wine. When I was just a little toddler, everybody had a glass of wine at the table.
Nice.
We never had wine glasses. We always drank out of
Out of
little
little
tiny tumblers.
Tumblers.
Yeah.
Well, that's the Italian way,
This
right?
Yes.
this is Grandpa who?
Grandpa de Grazia. His name was Gaetano de Grazia.
All
Di-
right.
Say it again.
Gaetano
Yeah.
de Grazia.
De Grazia
Of grace.
of grapes. I love that. Did you have a question? You had your hand up.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Has this winery ever received any awards from California? They've received
Well-
awards from other places.
Well, yeah, they did at the state fair.
Yeah.
Which is the Sacramento Fair, right? And they had a name that I wasn't familiar with. You had of that award.
Right. Al Whitaker won the Gold Vine Award of California, and I thought this was so interesting. He proved that the Vista Vinivera, is that how you say that?
Okay.
Family of grapes would grow east of the Rockies. So he was the first one to produce those types of grapes east of the Rockies.
And
He
then
has
he- and then
just
he
an
won a gold-
armload of just all kinds of credentials of how
Sure.
to grow wine and
And
everything.
he grows like 30, 40 varietals. I
Right,
mean, he's,
right. So
He's all over the map.
that was what he won. He won this wonderful award, the Gold Vine Award of California.
Gosh, well, you gotta love that.
Yeah,
Two
just
thumbs
a-
up for that one.
Just a little information on that Vista Vinivera. It's grapes that are such as the Cabernet Sauvignon,
Yeah.
Chardonnay,
Noble
Pinot
grapes.
Noir, and Riesling. But they make most of their wines from the native grapes which are the Cynthiana and the Muscadine.
Those are
What we had
indigenous
talked
to
about.
Arkansas, right? The Cynthiana.
Yes, the Cynthiana.
So that muscadine you're going to pour later, that's
Yes.
from Arkansas.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Okay.
All right, so let me pour this wine here. This is the Blush Chablis, they call it. It says American on it. Now, it says American where the other one said American grown. So I don't really know what that means. If anybody that's watching knows what that means. Yeah, we don't keep dump buckets unless we were doing the Tennessee one. No, I'm kidding.
You're not driving it, right?
No, well, Dee Dee, who did the tasting with me, said it's a sin to spit. So
That's right.
I don't know about that.
So this is a Blush Chablis. So I'm assuming like you would rosé. Rosé wines, so those of you that don't know, we basically pull the skins away, and that's what you get a little bit of color, but you take
Yeah.
the skins away. And I'm assuming that they're doing the same thing here. You pulled something away. So, wow. That's got a nose that's out there, baby. That's got a nose that's out there. Oh, yeah.
It's nice.
It's, I want to think, I'm thinking like plum or,
This?
yeah, or pear, or
It's
There's,
a delicate bouquet.
it is a delicate bouquet. Now, this is one you got to save up for your lifetime to buy. This is that top end. This is $6.65. Heck, the tax on the last wine I sold the other day was more than that. $6 is no, and there's no discount. You know, you bring a discount at 3 cents. Who does stuff like that? That's fantastic. At
No, it doesn't like
$6.65. You got to remember that bottle probably cost about 80, 90 cents. The foil and the cork. Man, you're into a buck, easy, $1.25. You're not leaving a lot on the table.
Yeah, it's a good indication that this is probably grown locally.
Locally. I would
But
think
it's
so.
you can see that it's been mixed with something like a Riesling, giving it a little bit more of a sweetness to it.
Yes, it's
so-
a little sweeter. A little sweeter.
Okay, so yeah, there's a hint of sweetness, and I don't recall that the bottle in California, whenever if they fortify it anyway, you're gonna get a little more info on it, and you might even get residual sugar.
Okay.
They really pumped the residual sugar up on this big time, and that's really a condition of the weather restraints, because you can't leave it on the vine so long because you've got frost coming, so you gotta get it off of there, but you need to manipulate it a little bit if you want to make it a little sweeter wine.
I see.
So you fortify it just a tad.
Yeah, this is a little sweeter.
Yeah. So in pairing, I wonder what you'd pair up with this.
I would go spicy foods. I would
You'd go spicy, would you?
yeah, I would go spicy with this though.
I was almost thinking cheese.
Cheese, but I
Would
think
you pair it with manchego?
Now that's an inside deal. I can't believe I just heard that. That was an inside deal. Because I always say I love manchego, and we serve it
Oh,
here.
I do too.
Yeah,
I love
right?
Manchego.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we serve it here, but I always say, it goes with everything. So that's why we use it. So,
It does. It
because
goes
we're
with
cheap and
everything.
we want to make sure we use it for all the
And
wines.
Chego's good shoes.
And
There's nothing wrong with that.
Oh,
Manchego.
it's delicious.
See, this is the Arkansan style because they like it sweet.
They like it sweet. Well, we noticed that with Tennessee.
Tennessee one.
It was sweet as well.
They love it.
The non-vintage thing really throws me off because I get a hint of almost oxidation in a way, and that would only occur if you left the bottle open or you had a very old wine that you were aging that probably saw a little bit of air. But because you don't have a vintage year, you can't nail it to anything. Now we got Dave Batt over here in the house, and
Actually, some winemakers like that, and it's not a bad thing because what it does.
Dave, come over here and sit over here, and because I want you to, and let's get Dave on camera. This is Dave Batt, a good friend of ours, associate. He is an expert in many areas in the wine industry, and you know it fairly well.
For a living.
That's right. So tell me what you're noticing.
Well, there's a lot of nuttiness to this, and it's coming through some oxidation, but it could have been intentional, because what it does is it calms the thing down, takes away the sweetness a little bit. It puts you in more a court of somebody who likes sherry.
That's what
That's
what I was
So
saying.
this is an alternative. This is a lighter
You
alternative.
hit the nail
to
on the
sherry.
head.
That's what I was doing.
So this, and that's exactly what you're getting. So this is going in the direction of I want to be a sherry from Arkansas with an American designation. So, and the American designation simply means I'm going out of state for where I have my license. I have to now default to the larger. I can't use my state. I have to now use America as the designation.
Do you know why there was a difference? This says American grown,
Right.
and this one just says American.
Right.
That'd be no difference.
Is there any significance? Do you know?
You can use either. They're very specific about the legality. America would be your equivalent AVA designation. Now you have to grow so
Within a
America,
certain-
So that's an AVA designation. American grown is more the statement of the production, much like you say bottled or state bottled and so forth.
Oh, okay.
So they're using two different terms, as if they're kind of saying the same thing to the consumer, but to the TTB, those guys who regulate things. One is about how we made the wine. The other one's about where it comes from.
Where it comes from.
Interesting.
So
Okay.
that's what it is.
All right. We're glad that you're here. So
Yes.
don't go anywhere. Because I don't know. Well,
And what I heard was the individual involved in this was saying, let's go east with Vitis vinifera.
Yes.
Okay, so Vitis vinifera is all the fine wine we all know, Merlot and Cabernet and so
Pinot
forth.
Grigio.
But then there's some foxier stuff that's Lambrusco and so forth that you typically get for some of the smaller states. They'll go for that. It's a little foxier, it's a little bit rougher. It has more of a character of, I got this on a cowboy ranch. Well, this is the real stuff. And it's somebody who early on did that. That's a really important step. And if he's one of the first who did that, that was a critical point to be made. And nowadays it's catching on where winemakers from California are going back to those places that would not typically grow or work with those kinds of grapes and basically offer up their skills to say, okay, we've worked with Vitis vinifera a lot. Let's go back to different climates where it's being used for the first time or for a while and see if we can make better wine as a result of our skill here. So it's something that's really very topical right now, that Vitis vinifera is being used in places where you wouldn't imagine it being used. The wine gets finer because the skill and the expertise from here is being shared over there. And so that's what's happening.
Right.
Right.
And
over
that-
there like another country.
Over there, like across the border into Arkansas.
Right. And that's what Al did.
Arkansas-
That's what Al Whitaker did.
Arkansas is the 20th, 21st in terms of ranking for production of wine.
Right.
And so they're not at the bottom, but they're not at the top, which is understandable. But at least they've got a handful of AVA things going on and so forth. So they're actually making a statement, and it sounds like they're doing it the right way by using Vitis vinifera.
Right.
Yeah, and on that, you have a slide up there that's Arkansas grape and wine, Karina, and it. They have this is from 2010. They have 1,668 full-time jobs from this, from winemaking. Wages about 42 million. Wine produced. This is interesting. 121,913 cases. In California, you could probably do that in just one. That would be a medium
A day
size.
in the summertime.
Yeah, pretty simple.
It's true, yeah.
Retail value of wine sold 20 million. Vineyard revenue 300,000. I love that. Number of wineries 13. So that's amazing. 21 million in related tourism impact, and 306,000 wine-related tourists come visit all the time. So, and tax base of $11 million. So the government does get a little ticket.
You know, when you add up the 40 million for the wineries and 20 million in the sales and another 20 million in jobs and everything else, you've got a substantial impact on the economy.
Yeah.
Plus a reason to talk about agritourism, which is a big thing right now too.
Yeah.
So you're coming to Arkansas. Let's talk about wine, and suddenly you were visiting farms and wineries and fields and so forth. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Lot of fun.
Yeah. All right. So let me
Interesting.
let's move to the Shiraz, and of course, you know, Shiraz, Syrah. Oh, that's that. Oh, I got the wrong bottle. I almost poured the wrong thing. It felt cold in my hands. I went, Shiraz
I heard
cold?
they're the
Who would do
biggest wine
that?
producer in the South. Right?
So, yeah, don't go too far there, Dave.
I just had to grab an empty glass here.
Okay. So this is a Shiraz. It says American, so we're back to the American thing. It just flat out isn't telling me anything else. I have no idea. So instantly we look at color. You know, when we're evaluating wines, we're always looking at color. It's got a typical Syrah, Shiraz color.
And the legs, how the leggies.
It's got legs coming down. That's an indicator of the alcohol sticking to the side. I didn't notice any of these being particularly high in alcohol. I think they were in the
13s.
12, 13 range. I didn't see anything that was really jumping. Now, I get a little hint of leather that you would associate with a Syrah, just a light, but not knowing the barrel program,
Right.
not knowing whether it even played in a barrel much or what kind, it's hard to really evaluate, you know, beyond that. But
This is cherry and plum.
yeah, you're definitely getting plum. But again, plum,
love
to
the
me,
plum.
is an indicator of a wine that may have been a little older, and it starts to get a little plummy. And I think that's maybe part because some of that
Plum,
non-vintage
yeah, there's a
stuff,
lot of
who
plum.
knows what
This is
barrel
the-
that was, right? I mean,
Right. Yeah. They usually talk
Like
about
dry.
brighter reds.
dry.
You know, the fruitiness is brighter, or you know, it's red, or it gets darker. It's darker fruit, so it's like plums and so forth. So it does take on more character. It's more brooding as it gets in that direction. But you got Syrah here. You know, you got Shiraz Syrah. So already you expect that. You get a little peppery quality going on too.
yeah.
Very
Some
nice.
oak in there too. I don't know. Chips or-
Yeah.
Very interesting. Now, a little, just a little thing for those of you that are new viewers. When you are, we want you to, if you're watching right now and you actually haven't asked a question or logged into anything, there is right below the screen, there is a social stream. And if you just type something, just say hello to us, and it'll ask you to log into Facebook or Twitter or Ustream. I'd prefer, if you've got a Twitter account, to just log in to Twitter, use the hashtag TV Tuesday Live, and that'll branch it out to lots of people. We want people to
Yeah.
know what's going on. So if you guys would do that, you don't have to necessarily ask a question, but if you do, use the hashtag TV Tuesday Live. Go ahead, Karina.
Okay, so we have a question, and that is, how does the Arkansas humidity
Wow,
affect
good
the
news.
wine?
I don't have to first.
Not something I can answer. What
Makes
do
it
you
hard,
think?
real hot
It's
when you're out
hard.
there. When you're
Yeah.
you know, humidity is a condition that's going to affect the grapes. That's the biggest issue. We don't have that here at all. In fact, there are times in the cave storage where they're trying to create some humidity in the cave, especially if they're trying to do a secondary fermentation. It's too damn cold, and they want to create some. And humidity can be really bad for grapes in the sense that it may give you mold. That's what I would.
I think that's true. I think that's true. So what do you think of the character of this?
Well,
Leather.
I got a little leather in the nose, which is what I would normally look at in Syrah. I'm kind of on an island because I don't know enough. I mean, if you gave me some kind of clues, that would help me as far as the barrel program or the
Seems
years.
like there's a little bit again of a little sugar back to it. sweeten it to take that tannic finish off of it, because it's not
Some
overly tannic.
residual sugar, yeah.
Yeah, there's probably a little bit, but I think, and there's some fruit in there too, which feels like sugar sometimes. But I'm going to go back to the marketing guy and say, what is the personality of this wine? This wine is actually, just as the other one was a lighter style of a sherry, this one is a lighter style of a port, in that it doesn't have that high extracted alcohol thing going on. It has a lot of the
No, I don't think
character
it
of a
has
light
much in it at
style
all.
Port.
What's the alcohol?
13.
Yeah, so you got 13, but it finishes quickly. It's not like
Yeah.
really extracted. It's not like a port, which would be 22%.
No.
You know.
It's not 45.
So what you're doing is you're saying, let me give you some of the flavor profile. Let me give you some of that personality of a port, but I'm not going to stick you with all the other stuff that goes with it. That includes price. That includes the over the top. I have to have a little bit of this in a small glass. I can have a real glass of this.
Well, this one got expensive. This was $15.95. So,
All right,
you
there
know,
you go.
we're getting up there, man.
Sure.
That's 2 weeks' pay somewhere.
Arkansas.
Yeah.
So it's to my mind, to position this, you've got that sherry, you've got this port kind of thing, but they're more available to people, so you don't have to say I'm stopping my drinking because I had a little bit of port. This is.
But I think you nailed it on the port thing, because that's kind of what that clicked pretty good. I'm glad you're here, because that's a
He
big
knows
help.
a lot.
Because I was struggling with that, almost a port thing.
It smells just like a tonic to me.
Tawny, yeah, that's what
Yeah.
yeah.
Exactly, because you still
That
get
is-
some of that nuttiness
yeah.
of a tawny.
Well, again, does it not go back to the non-vintage thing where that could be.
What's really,
gosh, that could be 20
you
year
know,
old.
a lot of people pick on this non-vintage thing if they're in this vintage. Oh, I got that vintage, this vintage. But the reality is, by taking the vintage off, when you have a vintage on, you can get 95% you can do 5% of something else.
Right.
So I got a 2010 vintage. I can sneak some 2009 5%.
You have a
and that's it.
5%
That's it.
give. Oh,
And that's because usually you top off your barrels with older wine when they evaporate in the cellar and so forth. So that's all you got. If you take those four numbers off, now suddenly I as a winemaker can make a better wine, because if I decide that I need some older wine in there with it to help it make it more complex, I'm free to do it by taking 4 digits off the bottle. And if everybody agrees that that's a cool thing, it will allow me to make a better wine and sell you a better wine, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So a lot of people say, well, if it's not vintage, I'm not going to pay as much. That's okay, because I'm going to sell more anyway, so it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, it would be hard to hit a really big price point with a non-vintage
Yeah,
still wine.
as soon as you stick yourself with a vintage, now you're stuck with what nature gave you. You can't mess with it, and that's what's cool about doing non-vintage.
But
So-
that's a double-edged sword. I mean, it could be a great thing if it was 2012 or
But
13,
you can still do
like
that,
we've
and
seen.
put it on or leave it off, and still it can be non-vintage and still be all 100% or something too. You know,
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, the rules go down to, and they have weird rules here. And it's just interesting that Tennessee and Arkansas did really the same trip on the non-vintage, the American thing. It was kind of interesting. Because we're so traditional to what we have here, so we
What's
don't
really
think outside that.
A separate marketing story. After 9/11, wineries switched to America, because you can use America even though you're Russian River or whatever. You can grow it up high enough, and they were selling more of America wine, America AVA, because it was America. They were proud. So
There you go.
it's kind of an interesting thing too.
Well, I know in the in the Chinese market, they want to see the word California on there, and they don't care what Russian River, Alexander Valley, Napa Valley. They don't care about that. All they want it to say is California. And to us, if it says California on the label and doesn't give you the actual AVA, then really that's a low-end wine that could come from who knows where.
Quaff.
But they don't look at it that way. They look at it as that could be a $200 bottle of wine, as long as it says California. So some of the wineries will do a second label run, and they'll put that California right up front, which is really interesting in the perception
Right.
of value based on a name.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay, so now we're gonna go to the heat.
This is it.
This is the one.
The muscadine.
The red muscadine.
Does this one have a vintage? Does this?
No.
This is Arkansas wine here.
It's American.
Oh, everybody! There are a lot of people that have muscadine grapes.
Oh, good
in their
night,
backyard.
Irene. Look at the
And,
color of this thing. Holy
muscadine.
smokes.
We have muscadine jelly, which I gave.
Yes, yes. Yeah,
To
I put
Angie
it on, I put it on my
Scott,
on my
and it
pancakes.
is delicious. This to me
This
has
is
the
the-
most gorgeous hot pink color. I love the color.
The color is
It's
pretty amazing.
prettier after you drink it. Right. The color is definitely
Poor man.
prettier after
Do a
you
few
drink
wine
it.
shots with this one and you'll be just fine. This is a color like you would see when you're taking tank samples of red wine well before they put it into the barrel.
Right.
If you take it right out of the tank, it has this similar color. In
It is different.
It's a bluish red, not
Yeah.
a brick red. Right?
Oh,
It's what
Oh,
we call.
wow.
We call
the
this
nose is
jammy.
off the.
It's jammy.
Strange nose.
Like you got to think of
Oh
it.
my!
It's like,
There is a little smoke.
what color is the smoke? White or blue?
Yeah. Yeah. It has that.
It's blue.
This is what you call
White
Arkansas
smoke.
rosé.
Oh yeah, you're right. It is white.
White smoke.
White smoke.
Perfume?
Arkansas rosé is muscadine.
Man, you guys that are watching right now, I can't even tell you.
It's like a dessert
Now
wine.
I'm getting almost little crystals on the what's the alcohol in that sucker?
8.
8? What's the alcohol in that, Karina? I'm getting almost like crystals on the side. Are you getting that on the side
very
of your glass?
sweet.
Yeah, muscadine grapes are very, very sweet.
It's almost like sediment, but it's
They make the best
I'm
jelly.
thinking it's almost like
That's what?
Jelly.
Oh, jelly, yeah.
Well, this has
Best
definitely got jelly, jam.
That's jammy. Yeah.
Pour this on pancakes.
So if you reduce this
That's
down
fermented.
just a little bit in the pan, I mean,
Oh my
that would
gosh.
go on pancakes
Yeah.
really well.
You can cook with this.
Oh
You
yeah.
can make some reductions with this that would be delicious. Absolutely
Booyah!
delicious.
Muscadine is a very interesting grape because they've argued as to where it fits in the overall family tree of things.
Yeah, where
And
doesn't
it doesn't fit in the Vitis vinifera, it doesn't fit in the Vitis labrusca. So I said, I tell you, we'll just call it muscadine. And it fits kind of somewhere somehow. But and that's what they say. But muscadine has a real character to it that we're discovering is this kind of, I'm getting as a jelly I've fermented, kind
Yeah.
of thing going on. But it's not that intense. So it's that Kool-Aid smile guy.
Yeah,
but
that's
he-
it.
but
Kool-Aid.
He fermented his stuff. Yeah, he kind of like, he's got that smile, but
Well,
it's
something
smile.
Is it your communion
I
wine?
got some wine from Wisconsin.
Something is sticking to the side of the glass here that's just incredible.
Those are actually the bubbles that are left.
It's-
Oh,
it's
I
like
see those. What are
fermentation
those?
bubbles? No.
It's just
Yeah,
It grows wild.
everywhere wild, everywhere in the woods.
it's the weed of the wine world that is
Well-
actually quite tasty.
Well, I was looking earlier today to get some pictures of vineyards and so on, and there were a bunch of crazy berry-looking things. and
Yes.
It's probably this stuff.
Yes.
There were a lot of them. I mean,
A
there were
lot of them.
Yeah,
A
they
ton
looked,
of them.
They looked like they were just wild and
Right.
Now this is
And
a
you know,
And
the
they had
women
some
make the
in the
jam, the women make the jelly, like
can
I
see- I
brought
can
you,
see
and the
making jelly,
men
yeah.
will make the wine. I mean, a
Smart,
lot of
smart.
people that are not, professional winemakers will make muscadine wine because the grapes are just everywhere.
And we said that the alcohol was pretty low still, right?
What is it?
But this is a gorgeous color. I love it. I love the color.
This is, they call it a table, again, going back to that table wine, they call it a table wine.
So they don't have to describe it
No.
by putting table wine on it.
Never.
Tell the alcohol.
Really? I didn't know that.
So you won't find it on there. As soon as they put
Yeah,
table wine.
this is what
Very
you would
candy,
give the
very
children
Go
for
on.
their first taste of wine.
So,
Their first taste of wine would be this one.
now when we did the show 2 weeks ago, we did the Tennessee wines, and the very last wine that you had was a port,
Oh,
right?
those are nice.
right, but
And-
it wasn't muscadine.
No, it wasn't. But we poured it into champagne,
Right.
and it was a neat little topper, and
Yes.
I'm thinking
Oh, I
that you
bet that
almost
would
could
be
do that
good.
here, but the only thing that I'm not getting high alcohol here at all. So you're not no, you're not getting enough kick for me to screw up my champagne, but if I
Only in this.
limoncello, but in the,
it's not quite as intense.
yeah,
as
but
most of the
limoncello,
colors, yeah.
I mean, you 2 shots of that and you're done.
Yeah,
I mean,
limoncello's
that'll kick
the
you
Are you familiar with
one
I
for
like
you,
it too.
or a half for Karina.
Drink the whole bottle.
Oh yeah, yeah. I
When
bet.
you look up
We like
humidity and
limoncello.
mildew rot, that you get the mildew and the disease.
This
But I
doesn't
could
appear to
almost
have
see
that.
that poured into a
This doesn't appear to have
champagne.
But that's
Um,
what they were saying as
Maybe
far as
we can
producing
convince
sweeter-
Andrew to bring up a glass,
It's a different process. I don't think that this is going through
a
that.
glass of sparkling brut,
Okay.
and leave a little room at the top, and
No.
I'll pour that in there.
In,
I
in
and we'll
researching
experiment.
in researching some of the Tennessee wines, because they use a lot of the muscadine as far as what their base wines, that and the Niagara and the
They put Viagra in there?
Yeah.
Kawaba.
Kawaba grape.
And they're all still sweet wines, but they're also very thick fruit. The skin on them are very thick, so they take that heat and the humidity, and they don't have to fight like our wines out here would have to do with them. And this, I think, is you can just taste the sweetness. But they did a lot of this and then blended that with like a 50% mixture of actual fruit, peach, strawberry, different berries, and they would actually make. That's why we had a lot of that blueberry type designated wine that was there.
Yeah.
But this is more of the true, I would think, true taste of that muscadine.
Yes, this
which I
is the
think
true
was,
taste of what muscadine jelly
Well, I would
tastes
try
like.
to figure out a way you could use this in another scenario here for sure.
Entirely. I absolutely
Right?
agree with
Yeah,
you.
you could play around with that.
This,
I think
this
that'd
on
be fun.
ice, kick back a little bit. It's a
I'd
relaxing
almost, yeah.
beverage.
This is not as cold as I would serve this. I
No,
would
this
serve
is
this
supposed
probably.
to be really, really
super,
cold.
super.
It's supposed to
I
be
would
super,
chill this
super
That's
thing
why you're
down
getting a
and enjoy
bunch
it.
of the
Yeah.
fruit, man. You're getting big fat fruit because it's not as cold as I would.
It's not trying to be some complex, let's analyze
Yeah.
this kind of wine.
All right, so let me excellent, perfect.
I don't know. You have the look, you have the smell, and then maybe
Is
not
that the- is that-
necessarily this
is this the
one,
rosé?
but you have 25 minutes of just enjoying
It's the brut.
yourself.
It's
I
the
mean,
brut, dude.
that's what's fun about liking wine
He's a
and
liar.
drinking wine.
Oh, absolutely.
It's the brute.
Okay, so I just put a little splash
And
in
now
there.
it's the
How
rosé.
pretty.
And it's an instant rosé. But the only thing that I'm concerned about, which is different than what we had in the Tennessee wine, because the Tennessee wine was so fortified, the flavor translates over into the champagne,
Right.
where this probably won't. But I'm just guessing. Oh, no, it did. Yeah. Oh, I'm okay with that. Now it's time for more. I wish it was fortified.
Oh, no. You get some brandy down there, Andrew?
Yeah, I'm way okay with that. So
Wow.
yeah, here, let me put a little in here. There we go. Oh, there we go.
Ooh, it's
Same.
so pretty.
Yeah.
I love the colors.
That worked out well.
How about that?
And so if you are experimenting with wines and you get something that might not hit your palate the way you like it, maybe it's a little too sweet for you and it's got nice color, then
It's
grab
nice.
a nice sparkling
Very
wine and pour that puppy dog in there and you're going to be just fine.
That is great.
That do
But
go-
see, the advantage to the Tennessee wine was it was
Maybe a
fortified
little
with
bit, yeah, a little
brandy.
bit more in there.
That thing
Right.
was kicking,
Yeah,
dude.
so you could
Oh, they'll just knock you out.
bring it down.
Oh, you can party down
you.
big time with one of those. You drink one and you're done. That's it.
Oh.
That actually, that was a pretty good.
Oh yeah, that really.
That worked. I didn't have a problem with that at all.
Yeah.
And you guys know I'm a big, snob critic guy.
You're very
You
You
really.
wouldn't say that if you didn't mean it, though.
That's right. That's pretty good. That's not bad. That's not bad. I'm not sharing.
Yeah, that calms that down really well. This would be good in the afternoon.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
little-
Yeah, a little
wonderful.
ice.
But you only need a little splash. You don't need to because I want to taste the champagne. I don't want to lose the champagne. I don't like mimosas because it
I
masks
don't like
some.
mimosas either.
Yeah, I want to taste that champagne. There's no question about it. But this has I know it's sparkling wine.
Sunday
stuff.
brunch.
My director over here, that's Nita, off camera, trying to tell me it's sparkling wine. It is technically, but you know what? Its method is
That's
champagne,
champagne.
so we can call it champagne. Can't we call it champagne?
Sure, why not?
Okay.
The U.S. never signed that treaty that we can't do
Don't
that,
they
so
call it
it's all there.
champagne at Wiederkehr?
Oh,
No, they call it sparkling wine.
can't-
Sparkling wine, to be safe.
well, they're trying to be
Yeah.
politically
Can't use
correct
for
or
the word
whatever.
champagne.
They also have
Wow.
sugar-free
So
wine.
that was well. Thank you first of all
Can't
for.
say
Well,
for
thank you
Oh, it's
for
my-
having me.
Oh,
I
it's my
enjoyed it.
pleasure. My pleasure. And the limo came and picked you up at the airport
Oh,
properly?
yes,
right?
it was wonderful.
Okay,
I
good.
loved it.
We do that for
I
all of
felt
our
like
guests. So
queen
if you
for
want
a
to be a
day.
guest and you're from
Queen
another
for a
state,
day.
we'll fly you out.
After the Learjet.
Well, I had Foley. My wife works for Foley, and he's got a big jet, so he picked him up and brought him here, and of course now we're taking him to dinner, and it's great. It's wonderful.
Where you
It's
going
fun.
to eat?
Wonderful.
And then yeah.
You know a lot about wine. And you've taught me
She
a
does know a
lot
lot.
about wine, being
I know,
in
but
your
I
wine club.
make it all up, though. Don't tell
I
me.
know you.
I can vouch for him.
You just have to remember, don't ask him the same question twice because you get two different answers.
Oh, okay.
Both are right.
That's right. I just surround myself with people that know more than I do, which is good. And that always helps me out. So that's why I got Dave just anchored right there.
That was nice. Thank you.
So that was very interesting. So we went through the Grand Reserve Chardonnay, $20.95. Save up for that one. Okay. And the blush Chablis, $6.65. Wow. I like
On
that.
sale. No.
Yeah, no sale, no discount. The Shiraz, which we would typically call a Shiraz, a Syrah here, and then this red muscadine, which can be multi-purpose. So if it doesn't fit your fancy right out of the gate, just put it in a glass of sparkling or champagne. I think you're rocking and rolling.
I think it'd be great. Girls,
At
we're going
$8
to try this at home.
At $8.35, you could party on. I just wish it had more alcohol because it would last longer, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it? Kind of like a port.
No, you just want the alcohol. don't you?
Yeah, I know. I keep telling that the same.
Scott, is there are you sure there's no case discount or shipping discount or anything? And where can they get this?
Yeah, they have to get on an airplane and they got to fly to Arkansas
Arkansas.
and then put it in your luggage and check it as your luggage and,
You
and
have to
move
go
on.
to Whitaker's.
You know, but there's a lot to do in
website.
Arkansas. So now, this is a great time to visit wine country. If you're coming to wine country, there's a whole lot going on. We had the taste of Alexander Valley, which was fantastic. And I just want to do a little shout out. I went to a new winery. I went to the, it wasn't the actual opening, but a couple days after the opening of a winery called Roth Winery, which is on, huh?
You did?
I did. Killer location. Oh my gosh. You know that beanbag game? What do they call that? You know what it's called. Huh? Cornhole. They have cornhole on two sides of the outside patio area. And then they have that other thing that we do at spring training, which is the little bricks. And you try to pull the brick out and lay it on top. Chinga. But they're gonna have a big one like this big.
Oh, a big one.
A big one, a real giant one, like caveman style.
Where are they located?
They are on Chalk Hill, and they're right across the street from Chalk Hill Estates. So you got Chalk Hill, you got Roth, and then down the street you got Lancaster.
No, I know
That's a
those.
great run, man. And they have boxed lunches for outside, and so you can have lunch,
Ooh,
bottle
that
of
sounds
wine.
like fun.
You can play the Jenga. You can do the cornhole. They have on the property on the hill. This is really cool. 'Cause I've been here.
That sounds like an
I've been here
awesome
since
job.
Easily
77. I've seen almost every winery on the planet. They have buffaloes on the hill.
Oh, we have buffalo in Arkansas.
Do you?
Yes, running
Do you
wild.
import them from
No,
like, New York or what?
No,
How
I
is it?
just think they're out there.
Oh, okay.
And they
Well,
put
they
them on-
They have
imported.
herds of buffalo.
Well, they imported these, and they have got buffalo up on the hill, which is very cool. And they're building a cave, so it's going to be this neat stop. It's going to be a really, really cool. So a little shout out. We like to find new places and fun
That
stuff.
sounds like fun.
This is a great time to come to wine country. If you come this weekend we've got Ricky Allen Ray on Thursday night. We have on Friday, and then we've got Greg Youter on Saturday. Greg's awesome. He plays every other Saturday here. Fabulous music. And we've got paninis, and we've been experimenting with pizza. So we've got some pasta. I thought it went pretty good. So if you come in and you want a pizza, just tell the staff, and they'll make one for you. And we have that and paninis. And so you never have to leave. Even if you get tired, you can sleep at one of the couches here. They all lay down into beds. And
Don't get creepy now.
well, I'm just saying, you know, I mean, some people just
the lobster lunch cook?
yeah. And so let me
I read
play
about
a
that.
video that's really cool of the lobster lunch that's coming up. We have two of them coming up. One is at Bonneau Winery, and that's July 12th, a Saturday, 1 to
James.
4. And the second one is August 9th at James Family Cellars. And here's the video. Take a look at that. In the vineyard.
What
So
vineyard?
how about that? Is
What
that
vineyard?
cool? That one at
No.
James.
No.
We got one at James and
James
one at Bonneau. So if you're looking for a really fun wine country event, that's the ultimate event. $95. It includes all your food, a vineyard tour, oysters on the half shell, artisan cheeses, and then they cook in big pots: lobster, shrimp, artichokes, potatoes, onion, corn, and cob. You saw it,
Oh
and
my
sausage, and they
goodness,
dump it
that
on the
sounds
table.
Delicious.
You are crazy if you're in the area and you don't go to that. You're going to kick yourself forever. So do that. 2 dates:
Wonderful event.
Bonneau event and James, tasting amazing wines. You're right there with the winemaker in the vineyard. Doesn't get any better than that. That's pretty cool.
Wow.
So wow, that is coming
Wow,
up
that's
big
wow.
time. All right.
Oh,
Now we're
I'm
gonna
have
we're
some
gonna
else.
change our palette just a little bit. One of the newest wineries that we have in the room, and there's a wine special that ends in a week. In about a week, no, week and a half. On the Deering Wines, our newest winery, I'm going to do something just in case you guys know. When you're switching from maybe a sweet wine into maybe a Bordeaux or something that's not sweet, very dry, what you want to do is swirl the wine a little bit in the glass. Don't be taking that away now. You swirl it in the glass, and then all you do is you do this and you dump that out. And now I've cleaned my glass, and I don't want to use water because water will break the alcohol down. So you do that. It's hard for people to pour wine away, but I'd rather have it coated with what I'm going to ultimately fill my glass with.
So we need to do that?
Huh? I know the bottle took off. I know. I've
No, so
missed.
we didn't get it.
I know. We got
We're
hosed. We got
what-
hosed.
We're what's called the sidekicks. So, you know.
We
All
have
right,
to do
so
that.
this is Deering's Cabernet Sauvignon. It does have a vintage year, 2009. It comes from the Mayakama Mountains. So I'll put a little in there, and then you're just going to swirl that around. That's right, and you're going to just dump that out. It's painful, but that's the right way to do it. And then it's coated, and you've taken all that other stuff out of there because it was a pretty sweet wine.
Okay.
And then, Brian, there you go.
Oh,
You can
wow.
swirl that around, and that's how you clean out your
Look
glass.
at all the money I got. See all those bubbles?
Yeah, bubbles
Oh,
is
that's
money.
it.
That's what Daddy would say.
Oh.
Oh my gosh,
I
look
got
at all
money?
your money. Look
Look
at all your money. Look
So,
at all you got.
I got lots of money. Well, I deserve it. No.
You own it.
So this is 2009. This comes from the Mayakama Mountains. It's produced by Deering Winery, one of our 9 vintners. This is our newest vintner.
Oh, how fun.
And they make a Grenache Blanc, which is a very obscure grape you don't see too much of. They do a Pinot Noir. They do a Zinfandel, and then a red blend, and then this Cabernet Sauvignon. So I thought it would be appropriate
I love Cab.
to bring us back to California and a vintage wine, 2009.
Oh my goodness.
And
That's
Huya.
delicious.
Oh yeah.
That's delicious.
Yeah, baby.
That'll set you free.
Very good.
That will set you free. Yeah, that's pouring really good. And they have a special that's running for another week and a half. 25% off on 3 bottles or more, mix and match. So it doesn't matter what any of their wines, mix and match, 25% off. That's a great deal. And just a little precursor to the wine club members that are watching right now.
Yes.
I'm putting this in the wine club shipment June. So rock out, baby.
Woo-hoo!
Woo! You're
That'd
gonna
be
love
great.
that puppy dog. Now I said that before I asked the Deerings if they had enough of it, so I don't know.
Oh.
if you get a second email, then you know what that's all about. Scott pulled the trigger again. Didn't have enough wine. Damn it! I hate that. So
Ooh, I
this
drank
is
that fast.
you like that?
I
Wow.
did.
Yeah.
I did like that
Wow.
one.
Wow, she wine
Yeah.
slammed it. I
I
like that.
love cabs. I like cabs.
Well, this is the real stuff.
Yes.
This is an example of beautiful location. They clearly took care of that vineyard. They stressed the vines magnificently. They aged it in brand new French oak for 22 months. They didn't fool around. That's really expensive. For those of you that don't know, those oak barrels from France are $1,100 a piece. I mean, we're not kidding around on the cost of this thing. That's very expensive. And but he didn't make a whole lot of this. I think he made about, I want to say, under 300 cases. I mean, that's not a lot of wine.
Wow, that sounds like a lot to me.
Well, when we looked at Arkansas, their entire production of 121,000 cases, that seems like a big number.
Yes.
That's tiny, 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 tiny.
Oh.
Really tiny.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah. In comparison, I mean, California probably does, you know, I don't know how many million cases, but it's a lot. Multiple million cases.
One winery will have a license for 200,000 cases.
Oh, yeah. So this is real small production, but we're very happy the Deering family has made a really nice wine here. So when you come in the tasting room, we've got it on the white wine tasting, and take a look at it. I think you guys will be really impressed. That's a great portfolio all the way through.
That's
And
why
it's
I
in-
like this wine club, because I get to taste wines that.
It's
you
not
know,
me.
It has to be you. You're the one that chooses them.
Okay, all right.
I mean, wine. Where would I ever taste a wine like that in
Never.
Arkansas?
Never.
Never.
Never. You could look in every store in the whole state. You're not going to find that.
And I get to share it with all my friends. You know.
And you have
and-
cool friends because they like it and they
And
join
they
the
like
club
it, and
too.
they're going to join,
I
and I
love
think
that.
it's fun.
I love that.
I
Well,
got to thank my friend Brent for going to the wine
well,
tasting.
thank him right there.
Brent, thank you so much for going with me to the wine tasting. I wouldn't have been able to do this choice of all
But he
these
did a
wines.
great job because
He
that
did
was
a great
neat.
job with
That
me.
was a neat array of wines, and it kind of went in a good order.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's a neat,
Yeah.
neat
Thank you.
representation. So
I can't forget Martha either.
no, what did Martha do?
Martha was just there and was big supporter with Bob.
Oh, okay. All right. So I'm trying to figure out how that worked. So let me pour a little more in your glass here.
I love cab.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
sure do. Well, don't worry. You can have as much of this as you want. There.
We'll take care of you.
No limits. No restrictions on that one. So first, I want to thank you for
thank
thinking of us
you.
and going out and experiencing these wines and bringing them here. It's a great experience for us.
And me
And
too.
hats off to tell me the name of the. How do I pronounce it?
Whitaker.
Whitaker.
Whitaker
To the
Wine.
Whitaker
Hey.
winery family and so on. Keep doing what you're doing. You
Yes.
make a ton of other stuff we didn't even
Touch.
get close to. But keep doing what you're doing and keep experimenting. It's all part of how you figure it out. That's what everybody's done.
Yes.
So thank you very much.
Thank
Good
you
to see
for
you. I'm glad
having
that you're
me.
here.
Me too.
Brian,
Nice meeting you,
also
Brian.
great to have you. Dave, thanks for chiming in.
Yes.
All of you guys back here that got the taste with us, hee-haw. And those that are downstairs that just didn't figure it out in time, but that's okay. And to our bloggers and our guests that have chimed in, keep tuning in. This is a show that runs every Tuesday at 6 o'clock. It has run longer than any show in the world. It's the longest running show in the world. If you have a longer running show, then send me an email with proof of your videos, and I'll send you a case of our best wine. Okay, how about that?
Here, here.
So go out there and experiment, people. But you got well, no, it's not 5 years. It's 5.5. We're at June,
Yeah.
dude. That's 5.5 years. Okay, that's every Tuesday. Do the math.
MTV's gonna come up and snap you, Scott.
MTV.
Wine show.
No, there's
Wine
not
show.
one wine show that has run longer than this. I'm sorry. There
No, I
is
mean
one.
we got to qualify. It's got to be a wine show.
Yeah, it can't be about.
I mean
you know,
Johnny Carson for crying out loud. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Jay
his
Leno.
family's calling me up. They're going,
Seinfeld.
yeah,
Sign.
yeah, not sitcoms. And
Right, wine
thank you
show.
to Nita to keep me on track and make sure I know what I'm doing, and Karina to multitask through the social media world that she evolves in. And thank you for all the things you do. And Russell, thank you for being on camera earlier, and we appreciate you and all of you. And this is where you discover wine one sip at a time here at Cellars of Sonoma. Next week, we're going to show you the wine specials coming up for June. Tune in, 6 o'clock at...
Congratulations,
Right here.
Janelle.
Hey, and here's the Janelle. All right, bye for now.